Hello everyone and welcome. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Firebuck and today we'll be continuing playing Jotunnslayer Hordes of Hel. Today we'll be using the Flame Sister and we are going to go back to Alfheim, Nightmare 10 with all modifiers. Let's step into the flames and begin. Alright, first things first, let us talk about all of the modifiers that is going to increase the difficulty on the hardest map in Nightmare 10. This is it. There is no other higher difficulty than this. First modifier is arachnophobia. So if you're afraid of spiders, maybe not want to watch this. But this is the modifier, and what it does is a spidery infection may result in spiders bursting out of your enemies. Waves of spiders. This is triggered by objective complete. This gives you a resource bonus of plus 30%. Next up is Root Curse. Twisted Flora has unleashed furious thorns upon its core problem. Thorns, and this will have the duration of 15, and this gives you a resource bonus of a plus 30%. Basically what this does is just those thorns, they will just appear, and it makes it a little bit harder because if you walk into it, then you take damage. Next up is the Greedy Masticus. You have no fear of pain if enduring it means greater rewards. So enemy damage is increased by 30%. And the resource bonus is a plus 30% as well. Next up is subjectively. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, there can be no room of interpretation where there is only one answer. So what this does is I can only choose what the game wants me to do the objectives. And I don't get to choose what objective I want or get. I only get one option, and that's it. Next up is Fizzled Magic. Magic behaves unpredictably, and skill cast may fizzle. The chance is 10%. So sometimes my skills or my abilities will just not do its thing and fizzle. And the last modifier is Spatial Anomaly. Corruption has crept into the navigation devices in all Elven way gates. So there's 4 gates in the map, and if I use it, then it will basically go wherever direction it will go, right? Usually, if I go to the left side, I'll go straight to the right side. If I go to the bottom, I'll go straight to the top. You gotta get the idea. It's usually that they go straight, but with this modifier, it's gonna be random. So after doing some research on YouTube and Twitch and all different platforms, I have yet to see anyone beat this map on Nightmare 10 with all modifiers. And I believe that this is going to be the first achievement of the world's first video that I will complete this on Nightmare 10 with all modifiers and with Alfheim, the map. Just Nightmare 10 alone on this map, enemy difficulty is up to 510%. Now, adding those modifiers is going to increase it even way harder, right? Especially when the enemy attacks are increased by 30% more damage. I have a lot more spiders to deal with, more enemies. I have thorns that I cannot walk through or else I will die instantly. And I can only choose one objective, so it's pure RNG. And I can't use the teleporters because it will just put me in random spots in the map. So you can kind of see that this is the ultimate challenge. And this is going to be the world's first video to prove that the Firebug has finally and will be able to beat this map. Stick around and stay tuned so you can see the glory of what I can achieve in this game. That being said, let us talk about the Flame Sister and what is the goal here. So I know that you saw a little bit of the trial and errors. This has taken me quite some time to try to beat this. This is the hardest challenge I have ever done on my channel. And the reason why I chose the Flame Sister, one, she has a lot of sustainability. Two, she has a faster kill time than most other characters in this game. And 3, it's the double dash. And number 4 is the weapon of choice that I have. So let's talk about the weapon of choice and why I prefer this weapon shown on screen right now. What this weapon does is when I activate it, it gives me a little window of invincibility, aka invulnerability. Why I chose this weapon, because if I need to do objectives and I have to stand still and there is hordes of enemies in front of me, I have to, one, rely on this so it can kill and burn enemies, and it can help me actually start the objective. Also, this weapon is gonna help me have a little bit of sustainability. As you can see, it gives me HP regeneration of 1.5 per second, right? The only down part about this is the cooldown is 17 seconds. But what makes it really good as well is that it has a burn chance of 100%. So if you haven't watched any of my other Flame Sister videos, you know why I chose a certain subclass, and I chose to go with the basically burn everybody to the ground. Burn them all, right? And that's basically what my motto is with the Flame Sister. So to fully understand the Flame Sister, we must have to look at her class traits. So her first class trait is Blazing Soul. What this does is basically she has a random burst that drains life from the enemies in the area. So it does damage and it heals her just a little bit. The cooldown is 4 to 16 seconds, so it's random. It's a random kind of class ability. You might see it, and you might see how she uses her dagger, and then all of a sudden it was like a kind of like these lines that attach to the enemy, these fire rays, I guess you can say. I don't know how to describe it, but I'll show it on screen what that looks like, and this gives you a better idea what every time you see it, she can actually heal off of it a little bit. Next class ability is the Dasher. So what this basically does is it grants her 2 dashes. Most characters only have 1 dash. Flame Sister is the only character that has 2 dashes. And then last is the Inferno. This is a ultimative attack infused with fire with the potential to burn enemies. So it's kind of like her other basic attack. Instead of using the daggers, she would throw some fire. It's like a little, not a fireball, but just like a little fire that she, just pushes out of her hands. And don't get that confused with the Blazing Soul. Blazing Soul is the fire rays, and that will heal her. But the Inferno basically just has a higher chance to burn enemies. Why is that important? Because this all ties into her subclass. The subclass of choice is going to be the Flame Dancer. What this does is it gives you burn damage of a plus 200%, and the Inferno chance is increased by 100%. And all of your class abilities, not god abilities, but your class abilities, will be a reduced cooldown by 25%. Now, let's quickly talk about the two first class abilities that I have for the Flame Sister. First one is going to be the Shrapnel Pot. What this does, it does damage. It is a delayed attack, so you have to, like, when she throws it out, it will have to wait for 0.6 seconds, and then it will blow up. And then the secondary damage is basically when it blows up, and it has a poison chance of 50%. When you max it out, the cooldown is going to be 2.5 seconds. Next up is my favorite ability in the game, and that is the Flaming Ray. So this is those rays that just consistently rotate around the Flame Sister. It does 20 damage. You can have up to 3 rays when it's maxed ranked. The range is 5 meters. It has a burn chance of 10. Duration is 3 seconds, and the cooldown is 4 seconds long. Now, this is going to be all the passives that I have put into the Flame Sister. These are the passives that you want to look for when you play the Flame Sister, right? So I'm going to list you all the patterns shown on screen right now, and I will show you the ones that I've actually used in this video. Think of the passives of it, one, enhancing everything that we just discussed, of her class traits and her subclass and her other abilities. Think of the passives like a cherry on top of all your abilities, and it just gives you that little amp and give you the little to basically burn everybody to the ground. Alright, that being all said, let us go and discuss the first passive. First passive is going to be the most important one, and that is the one that gives you more evasion. Evasion is like a dodge, and instead of getting hit, you have a chance to dodge out of it. So Flame Sister already has a bunch of evasion just in her kit, but with this passive, it increases it by, even if it's maxed, you get it up to 20% more evasion. Next up is Supernova. Try to get this at the beginning because it makes a huge difference. What this does is it actually reduces the cooldown of your Blazing Soul, the one that heals you, by 30%. Next passive is Sadist. What this does is it increases the critical hit chance to all sources on enemies afflicted with bleed, burn, shock, or poison. You can kind of see how that could affect the two abilities that I have for Flame Sister. The Shrapnel Pot that applies poison, and the Fire Rays also applies a burn. So both of them have a higher chance to have the enemies inflicted with a critical hit. This is important because of this next passive, the Master Assassin. Get this because there is tons of spiders and you need to have a lot of slay chance. So the Master Assassin, what this does is every time you do a critical hit, you have a chance to have a 15% chance to instantly kill the enemy. On top of it, every time you do a critical hit and you do have the slay chance of 15%, you have a chance to heal of 5 HP, and the chance is 20%. This is only triggered by the critical hit, and its cooldown is 0.3 seconds. Next passive is the Fairy Touch. Inferno has increased chance to inflict burn, so you have a higher chance to inflict burn, and this will increase the damage by 35%, and the burn chance goes from 15 to up to 30%. Next up is the Delightful Inquish. Anyways, do additional bonus damage to enemies inflicted with burn or poison status. It will increase the damage by plus 20%. Again, this is why you want to go with the two abilities that I show on screen of the Fire Rays and the Shrapnel Pot because of this passive. Alright, this one is going to be one of the most important passives to pick up, so listen carefully. This passive right here on screen is the most important one. Why? Because what this does is the cooldown of all your skills is reduced for each enemy consistently affected with burn. So the cooldown is take away 4%, and it's stackable. Yeah, you heard that right. It's stackable. So once you have this passive and you're applying all those burns, you're gonna have that instant cooldown consistently. Next passive is Suffocation. What this does is enemies inflicted with burn have a chance to create a flaming aura upon death. So if they're burned and you burn them alive, this will have a flaming area upon their death, and this will increase even more chance to burn enemies, do more damage, and so on and so on. So you kind of get the idea. Next one is Discipline. Increase the damage inflicted with your class skills. So all your class skills is going to be increased by a plus 20 to up to plus 40%. All right, and this one's going to be another very important one. This is going to be the cherry on top of all your other passives. So this one, when you unlock it at level 15, you want to get this one immediately. So what this does is Kindling. Receive a minor healing each time you inflict burn, and you heal just by 1 HP. And you're like, oh, that's not a lot. Brother, sit down and listen. We have affected every enemy on site on a burn. This can instantly heal you, and this is the most best passive that she has. So as you can see, most of this video I was just relying on the Flame Sister's abilities and passive and subclass and everything else, and of course with the local Ragnarok, right, everybody's iconic ability, right, which I'll show on screen what that does. I mean, it's self-explanatory. You've probably seen it used all over YouTube and Twitch, but you understand that the Flame Sister, if you just put points into Flame Sister, you are unstoppable, and it makes this run so much easier. And then of course I threw in the Scotty one abilities because I ran out of rerolls, so that's the reason why. But honestly, I didn't even need the whole Scotty abilities. I could have just done this with just 3 abilities. I could have just beaten this with 3 abilities, but I ran out of rerolls, and I didn't want to skip my upgrade, right? So yeah, this is very strong. Alright, another thing to keep in note is that I only used a couple of the God passives. So the first one is actually really important as well. It's the Worthy Opponent. What this does is increase all damage, especially against elite enemies. The damage is increased by 5%, and the damage versus elites is actually plus 20%. Next up is the Rune Mastery. I only got this because of the double cast. Double cast is basically when you throw out an ability, you have a small chance to throw it out again for free. It doesn't require a cooldown or anything like that. So the Rune Mastery, what this does is every time you do a double cast, you have a chance to heal, and the heal is 7 HP. Even though I didn't put a lot of points of double casting, I have a lot of cooldowns that proc the double cast. So that's the idea. All right, and just an honorable mention, right? If you are struggling with these runs, I highly recommend getting Self-Sacrifice with Odin. This basically just gives you a +1 revive. All right, and now let's talk about Njord. So the one that I picked up in the very beginning is the Salted Runes. This is really good because any enemy that has a below 50% health, you actually do increase damage by 25%. This works with minions and elites and even bosses. So yes, this can actually trigger with a boss, so you can help finish off the boss. And then another passive with Njord is this is the best passive in the game, and what this does is this will decrease cooldowns of class and god skills. So the more points you put in it, the better. So at first, the cooldown is at take rate 6 to 13 to max to 20%. So we have successfully burned every enemy on site, and every time we apply burn, we heal. Every time we apply a burn, we also reduce cooldown, and we also have a higher chance to kill elites, and we can also have even more cooldown because of Njord. And on top of it, that every time we end up doing the double cast, because of our short cooldown for all of our abilities, we can also heal up. So this is going to make you basically unstoppable. You're doing damage, you're healing, and you're just basically blazing through this entire game. So you can kind of see how everything synergizes. That you have a weapon that has 100% burn. You have your passives, your abilities, your poison. Every time you apply burn, you have a higher crit chance. Have your higher crit chance to apply even more insta kills for those annoying ass spiders. And all of that kind of just ties together. And on top of it, I didn't really need to have Scotty. The reason why I got it is because I ran out of rerolls. So that's the thing about this video, is that I should have gotten a lot more rerolls, and the more rerolls would have actually helped me put even more points into Flame Sister. So I'm going to give you the last of the honorable mentions, and these are going to be the little passives that I recommend with the Flame Sister and the little bit of the other parts. But as you can see, we have finally made it to the boss, and once you're here, it's a breeze, right? Of course, you had to make sure that this is the highest difficulty with all modifiers. So if you get hit once or twice with the boss, you will eventually end up dying, right? I know I got hit a couple times, but that's just because of the enemies that she spawns and not actually the boss herself. But the boss will have a chance to actually really insta-kill you. And as you can see, I don't have any more revives. So this is going to be the hit or break moment, right? If I get hit by the boss multiple times, or probably one or two times, this is going to be the end of this video. Just a little bit of more tips and tricks. Always what I do is I always focus on where my character's at. Positioning is key in these bullet hell games. right? Don't look at the enemy. Your abilities will automatically hit the enemy no matter what. Do not try to stand in front of the boss, because the boss will insta-kill you that way as well. And do not just be all greedy, right? Stay calm, take your time, and you will eventually beat the boss, and you will eventually beat Alfheim on Nightmare 10 with all modifiers. Even if you get hit, you're still fine. You can still basically lifesteal from the boss and the minions. The more minions that she spawns out, the better chance that you can heal up a little bit. Alright, this is her second phase. First phase was the easiest part. Now this is going to be the hardest part. Her abilities are a lot faster, and she will have a higher chance to killing you in this phase. So be careful and do not rush to kill the boss. That is the fastest way to lose this. The best way to do this is to keep your distance and slowly kill her with burns and with your abilities. And just keep your distance as much as possible. Utilize your 2 dashes, and if you need to, then you use the weapon ability that grants you invulnerability, or aka invincibility. You want to always keep moving. Do not ever stand still, and you will make it. Also, try to stay away from the walls as much as possible, because you don't want to get clipped by the wall environment or any weird shenanigans that happen sometimes. I know this is a small arena, and I know that most people panic here, but if you stay calm, you will eventually slowly kill the final boss. As you can already see, we are almost done. I am inches away to become the first person to do this. And just like that, I have done it. I am the world's first to beat Alfheim on Nightmare 10 with all modifiers. I have completed the entire game of Jötunnslayer Hordes of Hel. And I am the world's first to upload this on YouTube, and I have not seen anyone else on Twitch or on YouTube complete this. I have done the impossible, and I have finally beaten this entire game. There is no other higher challenge or harder difficulty than this. It doesn't even get any harder unless they update. But until then, this is it. This has taken me forever to complete. And I am so happy that I am going to be the world's first to upload this and to show the world that I have completely destroyed this game. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment down below what you want to see next. And subscribe so you don't miss out the new series when I play Cires and complete the entire game on Nightmare 10. So subscribe so you don't miss out. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next. Bye-bye.